Witch of Jasmine, and welcome back to my channel. I have my best friend and executive producer of the channel, my cat Cheralyn, here with me. She's very, very excited to start filming today, so she's walking around in circles over here. But anyway, hello! Today I have a reading for Leo Moons. How are you doing, Leo Moons? So nice to see you. I hope you're all doing well. Happy October. As I'm shuffling out your cards, I invite you to take some deep breaths, to calm yourself, ground yourself, center yourself, get relaxed, get comfy. Let's see what the cards have to tell you today. Oh. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. So for the Oracle card, we have Cleansing with Gemini and the Water element. And for your Tarot cards, we have Knight of Cups reversed, I hope the camera's not shaking too much. She's kind of bumping up against my little stand here, so sorry if that's happening. 10 of Pentacles reversed, Queen of Wands, the Greenman reversed, oh, aka the Fool reversed, 8 of Athens, aka 8 of Swords, and lastly, Queen of Athens reversed, aka Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, Leo Moons. The first thing I'm trying to sort out here is timing. Because it's kind of feeling like I don't mean to jump in too fast, but this is just what I'm trying to figure out first. What we're going to be talking about is like something that you are towards the end of, like in the final stages of, but also like it's like the like if you have like a trilogy of books and you're like starting the third one, you know, you're in a transition phase right now of starting something, but it's not like a brand new thing. It's like starting one of the last stages in a very, very long process. Does that make sense? Because just to give you a little frame of reference here, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Pentacles energy is very, very long, like years and years and years long. And 10, of course, is the end of something. So 10 of Pentacles is the end of a very, very like years long, maybe decades long thing, right? And because it's reversed, that tells you we're not like really truly finishing up, Like, we're not in like the last chapters of the last book. We're like starting the final book of a series. You know what I'm saying? Starting the last movie or the last season in like a show that has like 10 seasons, right? So I want to make that clear. This isn't something you're like starting brand new. But what we're talking about in this reading is kind of like, all right, we kind of hit a milestone. It's a great time for some release, to be thinking about, what has not been working. And I think what we're going to specifically talk about here is something that has been lingering around since the beginning, since the very first book, since the very first few chapters of the first book, something that has not been resolved, or just some sort of issue that has been there this whole time, that it's time to really look at and resolve. And I believe this has to do, given with this Knight of Cups reversed, I think it has to do with some sort of unkindness. Because Knight of Cups, he's actually one of my favorite cards in tarot. And I, usually when he comes up, he usually represents like a person, right? Some sort of source of love and support, right? I always picture him, especially with this particular card, him just like flying in to give love and support. He usually represents somebody who's like the kind of like a very like safe person who you can always turn to, who's always going to be there for you and always has your best intentions and just wants to see you happy and doing well. So when he's reversed, that makes me feel like that's either there's some sort of blockage there and you're not able to see or access that person or whatever source of love and support you have. You're not able to see that or access that. Or it could simply just be somebody who is the opposite of that, right? And oh, hi, Halen. So that could be, a person maybe who has been very integral to all of this, who just kind of from the beginning has always had this problem with being unkind and not being able to give you the love and support that you need. Or, of course, it could represent yourself, a part of yourself that is not able to give yourself the love and support that you need. So I know I've laid out a few things here, but this is a general reading. I kind of have to. So it's kind of like, all right, we need to address this. This has kind of been here this whole time. Before we can wrap this up, this needs to be addressed. Let's call it for what it is, right? So I guess my first question is like, as far as this person or whatever it is goes, this source goes, is it, well, okay, my question is like, is it, if it's yourself, we know that that can change. We know that we are all capable of giving ourselves love and support. If it's representing a different person or some source outside of yourself, is it possible for that to change? And I think I'm going to go ahead and say that there's no indication in this reading. Because these other cards that we have here are very like of the self. And I'll describe them in detail in a minute. It's not so much about the other person. So I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no. If that's what you're wondering, is this person going to be kind to me? What do I have to do, to get this love and support that I need from them? I'm gonna go ahead and say that I do not have an answer for that. Not yes, not no, just no answer. This is more focused on your part, your role in being able to supply that for yourself. Okay, so let's get into what should we be focusing on. I mean, of course, with this oracle card, the focus is mainly like getting rid of stuff. What can we cleanse? What can we let go of? I also want to say real quick too, with this card, a lot of times it kind of just gives a little tip. If you want to follow it, you're more than welcome to. If not, it's fine. But kind of a little tip that changing your environment, going away, being somewhere else physically is a really good idea for just a shift of perspective. So if you were thinking about, I don't know, visiting family for a weekend or something, I don't know, just like leaving or visiting a friend or whatever, and then coming back, that could be very helpful. Just throwing that out there, if applicable. So, I think I'm going to start with this Eight of Swords, but I want to explain this one really well because in this particular deck that this card comes up in, it's a little different than the standard, what we think of Eight of Swords, right? Because, I mean, you can see here, usually it's depicted with these swords being very, very tall, and she's kind of like surrounded by them, right? Almost trapped by them, right? But here we have them as being pretty small, right? They're not really trapping her. She's just trying to not step on them, not trip on them, right? But she is still blindfolded and she's got her hands kind of tied up, right? So with this card, it's about kind of blindly going forward, kind of blindly trusting the universe, trusting yourself, right? Because with Eight of Swords, a lot of times when it comes up, it suggests that we're feeling kind of hopeless. We're kind of feeling like, well, no matter what I do, I'm going to be stuck. No matter what I do, I'm going to have this problem, right? Which kind of goes back to what we were saying here, that I think this is something that has been lingering in the background of this situation the whole time. And we'll get to this a little more with this Queen of Wands. But the idea that this is just a problem that you are always going to have to deal with, and that there is no point in trying to fix it or make it better, is incorrect and unhelpful. Because with this card coming up, it tells me, and again with these other cards as well, it tells me that there is potential. There is a light at this end of the tunnel that you probably can't see yet. But it is there. But you're kind of stopping yourself before you've even really started, right? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that you have already tried to resolve this before and it did not go well. So that's why you feel this way. Nothing's telling me that. I'm just assuming that, to be honest. For example, if in this case, this Knight of Cups represents yourself, right? You're having a hard time feeling love for yourself and being compassionate and supportive towards yourself, right? And it's like, well, I've tried before and it was really hard and I just don't think I can get to that place with myself, So it's like, why bother? Why try? Why keep doing this difficult thing that I don't think is going to work anyway, right? And basically, Eight of Swords is saying, because you can. You actually can do it, you know? And yeah, actually, let's go over to the Queen of Wands too. She is here to say, yes, you can. It can be done. This thing that you want, it can be done. You can do it. You are stronger than you think you are. That's what Queen of Wands like shouts from the rooftops. You are stronger than you think you are. Yes, you can do it. But yes, that does likely mean that you're going to be going in blind for a little while and just trusting the process. Even if you do feel kind of hopeless, this is definitely your confirmation that, you know, it's okay that you can't see it. That's totally fine. It probably makes a lot of sense. Probably whatever it is we are talking about here, it is something that's very difficult, right? But it's very, very important that you try anyway, because you actually are probably going to succeed. And one little tip for getting this to succeed, to have success with this, is this Queen of Swords reversed. She is, when reversed, she is about overthinking, overanalyzing, what's the word? Micromanaging, all that kind of stuff, right? Getting really, really in your head. That's what Swords is associated with. It's associated with the air element. So that's about like the mind, right? So don't be in your head too much, which I know is so much easier said than done, but don't fall into that trap of trying to manage every little thing, predict every little outcome, because what you're doing is putting this excess energy into something that actually just is kind of unpredictable, right? Going forward, I can tell you for sure, probably not forever. In fact, I could say not forever, but for a little while, for the first few chapters of this last book of the series, okay? Are you following? You're going blind. You're just trying not to step on those little swords. You're just trying not to trip too much. And you probably will a little bit, and that's okay. But as you go through, and this is the important part, okay? As you go through, you will see that 10 of Pentacles upright, the happily ever after, the thing that you really want. That image will become more and more clear. You can't see it clearly now. It will become clear as you just go and trust the process. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't really know what exactly is going to come of this. I don't know what it's going to look like either, right? Hopefully next month with our reading, maybe we'll have a little more clarity. But again, with this 10 of Pentacles here, it tells me there absolutely is, and I would say with the Queen of Wands too, I would say it's, and you know I don't like to promise things. If you've been here before, you know I don't promise things unless I actually totally 100% feel it. I will say I 99% feel it. There is an overwhelmingly good chance that this big goal, even outside of whatever this is, right? The big goal, the big thing that you're looking for, that you've been working towards for so long, that happily ever after, that happy ending, there is very, very, very good potential for that. I'm gonna, again, nearly guarantee it, because I don't like promising things. But I'm gonna nearly guarantee that it is there. But this is kind of the point in the journey where you trust the process. And most importantly, though, trust yourself. That's the really, really big thing here. Trusting that you can get yourself through it. That if you trip over one of these swords or this situation, if it's like an outside person, right? A parent, whatever kind of loved one, that regardless of all of that stuff, you've got yourself. You can handle it. And just because you don't yet know what that means doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Okay, Leo Moons, I'm trying to be as clear as I can. But of course, if you have any questions about this or if you'd like any part of this clarified, please let me know. You can leave a comment or you can just reach out to me, whichever you prefer. On the shorts part of my channel, I have hundreds of shorts videos where I talk about each of the cards. I talk about their upright meaning, their reversed meaning, as well as any symbolism within the cards. So if you're feeling particularly drawn to any of them, or if you'd like any more information about any of them, highly recommend you go check that out. But Leo Moons, more than anything, I am sending you lots and lots of strength. I will say too, on the note of checking out my shorts, if you're feeling interested, I would recommend looking at the Queen of Wands. She is the energy you want to be embodying right now as you're going through all of this and trying to navigate, even though you're a little bit blind, a little bit, metaphorically speaking. But also, and of course I just explained all this, I'm just saying, just to summarize, right? In this Queen of Swords reversed, specifically the reversed, right? That's what you practically don't want to be doing. If you feel yourself starting to overthink and overanalyze and micromanage and plan, and it kind of just starts leading to a bunch of anxiety and going down that path, right? That's what we want to avoid. But again, it did obviously explain it, but I know there's more information over there. So if you are looking for homework, extra credit, highly recommend you go check that out. But anyway, Leo Moons, I'm sending you so much strength, lots of good luck. And I'm curious what's going on. Hopefully next month we have a little more clarity, but you never know with tarot. Oh, one last thing I will say too, and this is just coming from my experience of being a tarot reader for years and doing, I don't even know how many, probably hundreds and hundreds of tarot readings at this point, is that when the universe doesn't, the universe slash the cards, right, doesn't give us the answers we want right now, as frustrating as that is, I do really believe, through my experience, the experience of others, all the experience I have, that that is because we are not meant to know. We might be being protected from that information one way or another. Doesn't mean it's bad, right? Just that if you know now, it won't work out the way it's supposed to. So keep that in mind. Okay, this reading might be really long. I'm sorry about that. We had a lot to talk about. I wanted to get it all as clear as I possibly could. So anyway, Leo Moons, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!